utterly surprised at how quick it's going by and how quick we're going through the witnesses. So far, everything seems to be as it should be.
Testimony continues for a third week now in Lori Vallow Daybell's murder trial, with the trial moving quicker than expected, something J.J. Vallow's grandfather, whom you just heard from, is pleased with as he hopes for justice. Welcome to the news at 6. I'm Doug Petcash. Lori Vallow was charged with murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and grand theft in the deaths of two of her kids, J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan, and her husband Chad Daybell's late wife Tammy. Digital evidence, including browsing history and text messages, were all on full display today during trial. My co-anchor, Morgan Romero, was in court all day covering the case where 3 members of law enforcement testified.
First, a Rexburg Police Department detective tasked with finding Lori Vallow's missing children took the stand. After both the defense and the prosecution finished questioning him, an FBI analyst testified to Lori and Chad's browsing history and text messages between each other. Then, an FBI special agent testified. He's on the cellular analyst survey team. Much of what we heard today was information jurors already knew based on several other witnesses' testimony, but they heard from more experts who handled the case. The prosecution questioned Rexburg Police Detective David Stubbs for several hours. As he testified to last week, Stubbs went to Vallow's Rexburg apartment on November 26, 2019, to find out where her son JJ was. Stubbs spoke to search warrants issued during the investigation and the electronic data that led officers to finding Lori and Chad in Hawaii and ultimately finding the bodies of Lori's missing kids. Stubbs said officers obtained warrants for 18 phones connected to Vallow. After police found JJ and Tylee's bodies, investigators asked Google to help with something called geofencing. That's to see which devices were at Chad's property and Lori's apartment around the time the kids went missing. Stubbs said Vallow's brother Alex Cox's phone was the only one that went back and forth multiple times between the two houses. As we've reported, Cox is now dead, but before he died, his wife testified he said he thought he might be Chad and Lori's fall guy. Vallow claims she has an alibi. She wasn't there when her kids were killed at Cox's apartment in the same complex. FBI agent Nicholas Balance talked about how he tracked cell phone and geolocation records and put them on a map to find out where phones were. Based on cell tower data, Balance said Lori and Chad both communicated with Alex multiple times the morning of September 9th, the day investigators believe Tylee's body was burned on Chad's property. Through this type of testimony and evidence, the prosecution is not only trying to prove to the jury that Vallow is guilty of murder, but that she also conspired with Chad and Alex to kill her kids and Tammy. Former Ada County Chief Deputy Prosecutor Gene Fisher says conspiracy means at least 2 people worked together and planned to carry out a crime, and that crime was acted on. Vallow's motives, prosecutors allege, to get money, be with Chad, and become more powerful.
The conspiracy charge in this case is, I think, one of the strongest charges that they have. Clearly it is. When you see all of the conversation that has taken place on text and phone calls, her comments that she's made to law enforcement and police, those sorts of things. I mean, it's really about the conspiracy. The jury also gets to, look at her demeanor as all of this has been unfolding, and they're seeing clips from when, back when she's first being told, when she's being asked where her children are, and she's not acting like a concerned mother. I mean, they can do this about Alex, but they're going to have a real hard time getting outside of that conspiracy.
FBI analyst Nicole Heidemann also testified, going over Chad and Lori's texts and internet search histories from the time they met in 2018 until a few months after the kids were killed. Heidemann shared texts between Chad and Lori just days after Lori's ex-husband Charles was killed in Arizona, saying how much they love each other and how they're looking forward to moving to Kauai together. The defense asked Detective Stubbs if he ever found a text or an email from Lori saying that she wanted her kids killed or asking anyone to kill her kids. To that, Stubbs said no. But Gene Fisher says much of this case will hinge on circumstantial evidence, and jurors should give that as much weight as direct evidence. Reporting in Boise, Morgan Romero, Idaho's News Channel 7.
For updates throughout the trial, you can visit this story on our website, ktvb.com. And for more in-depth coverage from court, scan the QR code on your screen for a link to all of our coverage of the Vallow trial.